Welcome to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker, the show where we get smarter together. I'm your humble tech host, Sanjay Parker, and I am here today with my trusty co-host, Mike Carswell, to talk about all things technology. And today, this is going to be about big data.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is Mike Carswell. Welcome to Tech Talk 2020. Always glad to be here. And during our show today, if you'd like to have some questions answered or you have some thoughts about what we're talking about, hit us on Facebook at Tech Talk 2020 or hit us up on Twitter also at Tech Talk 2020. So, Sanjay, you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit, if I can say that. Big data. So take me down the big data road because I'm very interested in hearing where we're headed.
So I'd like to have a shout out to United Way Lake County. Change starts here. My trusty T-shirt from my lovely wife, Nicole. So, Mike, I knew in high school you knew a guy named Big Dan and maybe his sister Big Dana. They kind of flunked 3 times. They were bigger than everybody. This is a little bit different, though.
I went to a single gender school, so start over. That's cool.
So Big Dan, right?
Big Dan.
So it's a little bit different. So big data is primarily used by businesses today, and it's for data sets so large that you can't deal with it in the traditional manner. For example, you have an Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yep, I've seen those.
That's data. That's not big data, right? Big data is so complex that your traditional ways of processing it or applications are inadequate. So you might need thousands of processors to do it because it's got so much data.
So much information. That will be information overload.
Totally.
Okay,
I mean, I heard this recently. In the past 2 years, there's been more data and content generated than in the entire history of mankind.
Oh, wow. So there's more knowledge about my spending habits or my lack of spending habits out there than has ever been before.
Everything you do, your clicks, your journey on the web, there's sensors all over the highway, in your cars, in your homes, on your Fitbits, all providing data to be analyzed after it's stored and processed.
That's that bringing up that song, Somebody's Watching You, man, making you a little bit nervous. So information on me is deep and thick and corrugated or whatever you want to call it. So let me ask you this, in regards to that, so just about anybody on this planet that doesn't travel incognito, so to speak, that doesn't travel under the radar, that doesn't have any credit cards or whatever, there's information that's been gathered about you, who you are, what you do, and where you live.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you drive a car, your license plate is tracked in many states in terms of being in that state, which direction you're traveling, what speed you were going. All of that stuff gets captured easily with these machines.
Sounds overwhelming, though.
It is, right, and that's the problem. So big data is not just the capture of this information or the ability to look at it. It's really the ability to have the complex understanding capabilities of how to use that data. So before we get too deep into big data, there's 2 types of data. There's structured data,
all right,
and there's unstructured data.
Give me an example of structured data.
So structured data is, hey, I've got, again, I think the easiest way to explain this is an Excel spreadsheet. Say you're keeping a list of your golfing scores, right? And so you've got your date, the partners you golfed with, and the location and the scores. It could be 4 columns, and each week you put in your scores and all that information. That's structured because you know that there's 4 columns. You know that the type of data going into it is going to be regular, and you're putting all that stuff in.
And I also know that my score will continually be better than yours.
That's a given, yes. That's outside of the scope of today's talk. Thank you, Mike. So
that's just data, man.
Right, I thought the bigger numbers won.
No.
No, okay.
Wrong game. Right.
So that's structured. Unstructured data is you have no idea. Well, you have some idea, but you have no real way to get in. So, for example, a book, right? Say A Tale of Two Cities. That's data, right? You can search it, do stuff with it.
Right.
It's not in any structure. It's just written in regular prose. Look at videos. That's not really structured data, but there's data in them that are videos, right? For example, what we're doing today, there's data. Somebody could tag computer, technology, monitor. They can tag a lot of things in this video that become data, but the video itself is unstructured.
Okay, so with regards of tracking data, this big data, okay, I'm going to let you drive because I'm getting data overload right now, even as we speak.
Yeah, so tons of data, lots of things coming in, millions and millions and millions of data points every second, trillions. I love that word, right?
You do.
Trillions of data points. Now, what do you do with all this information? We never had it before, right? And this is because of the rise of the digital world. and a lot of people, I've been researching this lately, talking about when did the digital world kind of become real, right?
Okay.
Take a guess.
Okay. The digital world. The term digital, I remember when Sports Illustrated decided to shoot all their video, all their photographs digitally. That was some kind of big announcement that took place, I want to say late 80s, early 90s when that took place. So I'm assuming the digital age began about that time. Is that a safe guess?
I think, and that there's an argument for that. There's an argument for the mid-90s with the rise of the internet. There is an argument, some people are saying 2002, and that's because that's when everybody realized that the vast majority of things were done digitally. And so there's an inflection point right there in 2002.
Okay.
Internet became popular. Everybody had access to computers that had enough compute power to handle digital media. Digital cameras started their rise. Early phones started having the ability, they weren't really smartphones, but they had the ability to capture digital pictures. So we had that from a consumer standpoint. 2002 is kind of where they started. It's still a long time ago. That's 14
2002,
years.
14 years ago?
That's 14 years ago.
Wow.
That's like prehistoric, right?
Dude, I got socks that old. What are you talking about? Interesting with big data, too, with the data points you talked about. I was listening to some basketball analysts talking about things concerning how much time this particular athlete was on the floor, or these five guys, when they were on the court, there were things that occurred in a positive light 72% of the time, which is when those five guys were not on the floor, the team had a tendency to fall behind and some other things like that. So it seems like there's a super influx of information and more data. Now, it's just data. So we can always, parlay it and say, look, that's just data, but you can't argue with the bold numbers here. But it is just data, and this circumstance may require something differently. So I understand the value of it, but I also understand that it's not the end all.
Yeah, and I've been hearing a lot of that lately with the NBA Finals and the plus minus of certain people on the floor
Sure.
with the death lineup of the Golden State Warriors and things like that. I think what data does is, and we're seeing this in the business world today, everywhere. Data, big data, medium data, analytics is key, right? To understand that data and help it not only tell you what the past was like, we all know that. It's easy to see, it's easy to analyze, but it's around predicting what might happen next in certain situations.
Yeah.
So data analytics are really key. So what we're also seeing is when you're using data analytics to make decisions, it usually tends to have an outcome that's better than those who just use their gut.
When you first said big data, I was thinking about the times that, when you see, what is it, eHarmony or Match Plus? You said big data. I thought that was just a cool way of saying that there was a guy that was big and he wanted to date you.
Yeah, the big dater.
The big data.
Yeah, or
yeah.
Actually in the UK, when people say data, I've heard dater a lot.
Oh, dater.
Dater,
Okay,
they call it dater.
I thought it was a guy that
would be
went
the
on
big
many
dater.
dates.
The big dater.
I haven't been on many dates lately, so about 29 years. Well, I know. I go on a date with my wife all the time.
That's right. You guys have date night.
Heck yeah.
You guys have date night.
Yes, we do. Big data. I like that.
That's pretty awesome. So I think it's really important. So let's talk about a couple of things. So, IBM and analytics, they've been a leader in this field for some time.
Yep.
They've got the compute power to take all of this data and do things. They've broken this field down, big data, into 4 Vs. Easy for us to remember.
Okay, hang on to those Vs. You know what I think about when you say that? I think of a bowl of Rice Krispies, and you pour all the cereal in there.
Snap, crackle,
You'll be back.
pop.
You'll be back. Yeah, a bowl of Rice Krispies, but I only need 3 of them. 3 of those kernels. One happens to be down here, one's over there, and one's there. I got all this data, and I specifically need those 3 kernels to get the information that I need.
But what if you found out by analyzing all those kernels that perhaps you'd be better off eating some oatmeal?
I would enjoy that, but Fruit Loops really are pretty high on my chart too. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs too, man.
Oh man, and Sugar Smacks, I bet.
Oh no, actually, my wife forbids that stuff in the house anymore. It's gone.
She's analyzed her data.
That's
or
right.
It could be a gut reaction,
So
which is right.
Tell me about the 4 Vs. I apologize. I had a cereal moment there.
Literally. So when we talk about data,
Yeah.
the 4 Vs, right? These are important. When you understand big data and how much of this is coming in, and we know terabytes and petabytes and zettabytes and all this stuff, let's look at the volume of data. That's the first V, volume. So how much data is coming in, right? You got billions of people on the planet all generating all of this data. You're talking about 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created per day. Is ridiculous.
Nice.
Per day. You're talking about 40 zettabytes, which is 40 trillion gigabytes of data created by the year 2020. Mm-hmm. That's 300 times the amount of data since 2005.
So in 1 year. So much data. It's the volume you're calling it, the amount.
Right.
Just using that term. Okay.
So that makes it big data, right? If you just look at how much data is coming in. This is not something that companies are making up, thinking, yeah, we're going to take advantage of it. This is here. This is how much data is being created. Big data is a reality. The second V is around variety, right? What different types of data? We talked about structured and unstructured. And so, some of that data could be video. Are you trying to understand, video analytics plus Facebook posts, right? What about the pictures that are coming on Facebook? Can you tell the sentiment of the nation based on that? Mm-hmm. Can you tell based on somebody's posts? We can as humans, who leans left and who leans right politically?
Pretty easily.
But even if you don't express it, Facebook knows by
the people that are coming to you.
The people what you're clicking on, what you're doing as the cookies track you through the web. There's an amazing amount of stuff.
Somebody's watching me.
Yeah. We'll come back and talk about the other two V's after the break. But when you talk about volume and variety, today in 2016, we have never seen this much volume or variety in the types of data coming in. That's all started from the digital revolution that continues to today. More and more things are being digitized. And when they're digitized, we have the ability to analyze, predict, and tune our future and outcome based on that data.
There's more and more history every day. And this break is history. How's that for funny? Thanks for tuning in to Tech Talk 2020. We will be back after the break. Again, hit us up on Twitter at Tech Talk 2020 or on our Facebook page, which is also Tech Talk 2020. We'll talk to you after the break. Thank you for tuning in on WINT 1330 AM here on Tech Talk 2020. Thanks.
That timed out perfectly.
That's a good half.
So we got 10 minutes till the next show.
Yeah, so we'll do a chunk of the. We'll do the 10 minutes. Is that 10 minutes or we need 11 minutes?
We're gonna need about.
Let's do it now because we'll just.
12.
No, but we can't do it now because we got to start the.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, let's finish it.
Do you want to?
Yeah, we're on a roll. All
right.
Plus, we're recording.
So, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to do like one chunk and then do the second chunk later?
Yeah, what do you want to do at 7? At 7, we got to do a live show.
Yeah, but let's finish this up. We'll do 10 minutes. Is that enough?
No, he needs 11 minutes.
More.
He needs 11 minutes.
Like,
we started too late.
You need at least like 12 minutes, and we start in like 9 minutes. So that's what I was saying. Do you want to do like a chunk now, then a chunk later?
We're going to have to do big data after, so you put your shirt back on.
Or what I could do.
Wait, what happens to our stream? So we got to start it over. We won't.
Oh, you're thinking about the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were streaming this right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we're posting it.
Well,
Hi.
Can you save that as like a like first half?